Ashton, and I just want to give you a few tips when you're applying for college and figuring out how to pay for it and things like that. So the first thing I want to talk about is FAFSA. You have to FAFSA. Alright, so on October 1st is when it opens up, and you use the past year's tax return. So I applied in 2017, so I used 2016's tax returns. And when you're applying, a good tip is to answer yes for work study. Now you may not want to, but if you put that, you have a likelier chance, according to some blogs and things like that, to getting financial aid. So that's what I personally did. And when you're applying, try and get your parents to sit down and help you and figure things out. I personally had to go to the people that do our taxes and ask for a copy that you could use for FAFSA, and they knew what I was talking about, so they print out a special copy that had more information on it. Also, don't forget to apply for state aid. So for Mississippi, it's riseupmississippi.org, I believe, and so that's where you can apply for state aid. Now, in order to apply for some scholarships, you do need to FAFSA, so make sure you do that first. Testing can get you a lot of scholarships, so make sure you're studying for the SAT and the ACT to get those scores up as high as you can. Barnes & Noble has a lot of these books. That's where I got these. And the higher you can get your score, the better. And some colleges even pay you for that. So at my college, you can get tuition at different levels depending on what your composite score is. So you want to try and practice and take tests and watch YouTube videos, things like that, and really focus in your core subjects in school to try and get that score up. So the next thing after step 1, which is FAFSA, step 2, state aid, step 3, getting your scores up in the SAT and ACT, would be to research scholarships. So I have this book that I got at Barnes & Noble. It's called The Ultimate Scholarship Book. I got it in 2015, but the scholarships are relatively the same and still available, and their deadlines are around the same time. You can go through and see the legitimate scholarships because there are some fake ones online that will fish for your information. This book is really great. It's the Ultimate Scholarship Book by Gen and Kelly Tanabe. It says Gen, so I hope that's Gen. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But just go through, and it has categories for the scholarships, and it even has some tips in the beginning of the book. But I just went through and I highlighted, I don't know if you can see that, went through and highlighted the ones that I am eligible for, and I just kind of write them down on a calendar according to deadline. So something a lot of the scholarships do is they repeat their prompts if they do have essays, and the one that I get the most often is, what are your career goals and objectives? Now, I change it from essay to essay. I don't keep them all the same, but I do keep the rough draft in a Google Drive so I can access it at any point in time, and I don't have to go through the whole entire process all over again. But I do add on to that rough draft. So a good idea is to get a Gmail if you don't have one, and use this as an opportunity to create your email that you're going to use on your resume. So on your resume, which some scholarships do need, on your resume you want an email that is just your name and maybe a number, but just your name if you can do that and if it is available to you. You don't want something inappropriate or anything like that, so you just want a basic email. And for resumes, if they do require them in the scholarships, you can actually find resume generators online. So just type into Google resume generators and they should pop up, and they're really easy to use. They'll ask you to type in everything, but they'll format it for you. So you put where you went to school, where you graduated from, what years you attended, put past jobs, and make sure when you do add your jobs, you add skills as well. Because you don't want to just say, oh, I was a cashier at a donut shop. You want to say what you learned from that experience. So you learn how to communicate with customers, you learn how to manage time. So try and look up those rough skills online. There are lists out there. And say you worked for a company. Did you learn computer skills? Are you proficient in Microsoft Office programs? So put things like that to make you stand out against anybody else that has applied. If a scholarship asks you to write a letter, there are formats for that online as well. Just look up how to write a formal letter. Anyways, I hope these tips help you out when applying for college and trying to figure out a way to fund your education. And just remember that you may apply for a lot of scholarships and you might not get a lot of scholarships, but there's always a chance. And so you need to keep your head up and good luck.